Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had a great week so far. I hope you're all healthy and staying happy. Students, in this class we are looking at speaking part 1 band 9 practice for the IELTS exam, either for the academic or the general, because the speaking section of the IELTS is the same for both tests. It's a 12-minute interview face-to-face with an IELTS examiner with 3 parts where you have to prove your English proficiency, not English as a second language, but your English proficiency, meaning that you have to show language abilities like vocabulary and grammar, and you also have to show communication skills like answering questions directly, concisely, coherently, fluently. Welcome Tatiana, welcome to our members joining in, welcome Carolina, our chat moderator. Hi Ho Thai, Simran, Augustine, good to see many students getting ready for the class. In this class, we are focusing on part 1, and this part 1 will target talking about fashion. So about clothing, the popularity of different clothing styles. You should already be thinking about vocabulary and ideas associated with this topic about fashion. And even if you're not into fashion, you still have to be able to talk about it. So hopefully you are, then you're lucky if you get a topic that you are familiar with, that is close to your hobbies or what you like doing, but that's not always a guarantee. Sometimes you get topics in the IELTS that you're not as familiar with, and you still have to talk about them. You cannot change the topic of your IELTS speaking sections. You get what you get, and that's what you have to deal with. As students, this lesson is brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, you can use this code PERFECT9 for a 20% discount. I'll show you where that is. So aehelp.com, academicenglishhelp.com looks like this with this blue background. We will use this website today to practice our speaking because this website has lots of tools for speaking practice as well as other parts of the IELTS exam. You can join the premium package by clicking the big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. And again, when you click that button, you can use the coupon code PERFECT9 for that 20% discount. So make sure to do that. General IELTS, gieltshelp.com, green background. Click that big red button there. Again, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. Welcome back, Arda. Hi, Rashika. I see more people joining in this morning for me. I'm sure it's afternoon or even late evening for many of you, as I am in the past for most of you here in Victoria. We are 7 hours behind the Universal Standard Time right now. So again, academic IELTS help. We've got lots of success stories. You can read them. We've got literally hundreds and hundreds of students around the world that we have helped pass the IELTS exam with flying colors. So check those out and make sure to visit us on the website. Students, again, just a really important reminder, if you have any questions about the IELTS exam or even about English or about university abroad, you can send us an email. We do our best to answer your questions. My email is adrian@aehelp.com. And again, a very important change to our schedule. There are no longer live classes on Wednesdays. However, as you will notice from today, we have longer classes on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So this class will be a 90-minute class. Make sure you get a glass of water and hang on tight. We are going to do lots of speaking practice, and we are going to get lots of chances to ask and answer questions and have feedback. Hi Pooja, welcome to our membership. Make sure to send me an email so I can hook you up with your membership perks. Students, we've got 4 tiers of memberships. So again, here's our schedule. You can see the schedule now on our Instagram and on our YouTube posts. So we've got our speaking today, and then tomorrow we'll have task 2 writing for members. We'll have reading for subscribers. And then on the 9th, we'll have speaking part 2 for members and speaking part 3 for the all chat class. Okay, students, so IELTS speaking part 1. You go to your IELTS exam an hour early. Okay, don't just get there 20 minutes before for the registration, but go there an hour early. All right, so go to your IELTS speaking exam 1 hour before it starts. In that 1 hour, there's just a few very useful points that you should focus on, okay? So number 1, get familiar with the location. Use the washroom if you need to. Get a bottle of water if you forgot to bring one. Okay, the most important is practice your English and your speaking with other candidates who are waiting there, okay? So practice your English and your speaking section questions with other candidates who are waiting for their interview. What else should you do in that 1 hour? So in that 1 hour, you're getting comfortable with the location. You're familiar with where the registration room is. And now that COVID is kind of on its way out, they will probably let you into the building in a lot of places, thankfully. So you get familiar with the location. You start to build your confidence. You're practicing your English. You have some questions with you. Maybe you downloaded some on your phone. I recommend having a piece of paper. I think it's good to just have one folded into your pocket. You never know about Wi-Fi or signal, just in case, right? So print maybe 1 or 2 full IELTS speaking section interview questions, and then take those with you. Find someone, say, hey, can you practice with me? They'll be happy to do it. If they're not, don't worry, find somebody else. What else should you do? Okay, so what else should you do? Arda, I'm not familiar with the IELTS exam. I haven't checked it out yet. What else should you do in that 1 hour? Okay, there is a third point. Okay, and what should you do? Yeah, Gift Day, we're going to have writing tomorrow for our members. Become a member. Okay, so in that 1 hour when you're waiting and you're getting comfortable and you're focusing on your English, Artist says get comfortable. Remember your strategies. Okay, so you have to remember your strategies. So think about your strategies. You've practiced them, you know them. But when we're out of context, when we have new surroundings, at times it's easy to forget what we practiced. So remember your strategies to follow during the interview. Like, for example, you want to follow the strategy of answer plus explain plus example. Okay, so when the examiner asks you a question, you should always be thinking, okay, I want to answer this question. I want to clearly explain this answer. And ideally, I want to give an example. Now, students, we are doing a speaking class here, and I know lots of you are really listening attentively, which is awesome. But I also want you to speak and repeat. So make sure to speak and repeat throughout this class, okay? So speak and repeat in this class, okay? So it's very, very important that you're not just listening, because then it's more of a listening class than a speaking class. And in fact, many of you will have chances to speak as well. So in that 1 hour, you get familiar with the location, you get comfortable, you get confident, you drink some water, you use the washroom if you have to. You're going to have to register 20 minutes before your interview starts anyway. You're practicing your speaking, and while you're doing that, remember your strategies. So answer, explain, example. Use the question in your answer, okay? Paraphrase words in your answer, okay? There are lots and lots of strategies, okay? So, good. Welcome, Eugene, making us happy with all those emojis. Hi, Alina. Good to see so many people in the class now. So you want to remember those strategies, and that's what you want to do, okay? So you want to have, and this in itself is a strategy, okay? Okay, and then eventually you get called in for registration. During registration time, they will ask you to leave any item or object in your pocket or a smartwatch, phone, etc., in the registration room that is not allowed in the interview. You're only allowed your pen and your ID into the interview room. Your ID, they will check it, okay? And then they'll be really friendly, okay? Stay focused. Even when you're registering, stay focused. So I've never actually said this tip, I think, in these classes. It's kind of an interesting one. And I've never said this, but I realized this because I've taken the IELTS exam now a couple of times, and I've realized this this situation that the people, usually volunteers, that are working at British Council or IDP test centers for the speaking section registration that happens 20 minutes before your interview. Okay, so they are really friendly. Okay, speaking are really friendly, and at times they are not speaking English as they should, but they are speaking in their own language. Okay, so why am I telling you this? Like right now, you're probably like, why is Adrian telling me that? What's the logic there? Okay. The problem with that is, yeah, you might feel comfortable, but it's also distracting. Okay, so it's kind of problematic because your brain should really be in English. So do not switch languages. Stay in English. And if they're like really friendly and you're starting to like just chit chat, don't chit chat. Stay focused. Be professional. Okay. So don't let that kind of throw you off, because then if you go into your speaking interview and you keep that style of kind of friendly chit-chat speaking, you're not going to get the best score possible. Okay, is everybody clear on that? Can I get some thumbs up in the chat? That's a really important tip. And these are all kind of mental, psychological elements to getting the best band score possible. Okay, so when you go in and you are registering, you have 20 minutes. Now, during COVID, you actually had to go back outside, but I think now that COVID is kind of ending, people can actually stay there. And I think it's really easy for a lot of people to get into this kind of false situation, this false concept of, oh, I'm in this super friendly place, everybody's so happy. Oh, and there's people who aren't even speaking English, so I don't really have to like stress about it so much, and I'm just chit-chatting in my own language. So don't do that. Stay professional, okay? The volunteers themselves should be behaving professionally and should be speaking in English only, but I discovered that's not always the situation. Anybody else, by the way, find that? And I see the thumbs up, so everybody, that's great. Anybody else who's taken the IELTS exam, who's not taking it for the first time, anybody else found that when they were doing their registration, the people seemed like really friendly, the volunteers, and some of them weren't really using English? I just want to see if if I'm the only one that had this experience, or if other people also had this experience as well when they took their IELTS exam. I know we have tons of people. We have about 180 people watching, so I'm guessing there must be a couple people who have taken the IELTS at least maybe once, hopefully not too many times. And yeah. So yeah, I can see now in the chat, Biswash says, yes, a bit friendly. Jenny says, yes, I do remember. Yep, and Jaskaran says, in India I experienced this. Yeah, absolutely. So just be really careful with that, okay? Don't switch languages, stay in English, stay professional. In fact, what I would recommend is if you feel like that environment is really chit-chatty and not professional, not English, remove yourself, go out of the room, find somebody else to practice your speaking with, okay? So I'll even make a note of that. So a good idea, if the room is too chatty and not English, is to leave and find a partner to practice with, okay? You're going to do much better. All right? So that's a pretty good tip there for you, okay? All right. So lots of good information there to get you ready for your IELTS speaking interview. And then after 20 minutes, you will be called into the interview room where an IELTS examiner will meet and greet you. That IELTS examiner in most cases will be a native speaker of the English language and trained to assess your English speaking level. They assess you in real time while you're speaking, okay? All right, so they ask you to sit down, stay focused. Again, remember all of your strategies, and then they will start off the interview with some instructions. During the instructions, keep those strategies in mind. And so they will say, welcome to the speaking section. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. I'm recording this for clerical purposes. My examiner number is 95238. We are currently conducting this exam in Toronto. The time is 14 o'clock. The candidate number is 958176254. The speaking has 3 parts. I will give you instructions for each. Now we shall begin. For part 1, I will ask you some questions to get to know you better and some questions on a general topic. May I see your identification, please? Okay. So they check your ID once during registration. They take a picture of you. Okay, it's the same ID that you used to register for the test, and then they check your identification one last time when you go into the speaking interview. The examiner, him or herself, will check to make sure that you haven't switched out with somebody, that it's still you, and then they will mark it, that they checked it, and then they'll continue. So the first question is always, may I see your identification? Make sure to give a nice, clear, accurate, fluent. I mean, you don't want to make mistakes on the first answer, right? So be sure that you have a good answer, okay? All right. Hi, Annie. I see you over there as well, okay? Anir Bun says, sure. Here's the passport I used for registration. Okay. Yeah, I like it. I think it's a bit short. Okay, that's my comment here on your bun. And by the way, students, we're starting like this, but we will be actually talking with volunteers here very shortly. So it's a bit short, but okay. All right. Definitely show fluency right away. Okay. So on your bun, I would add a little bit more to this. I would say something like, sure, here's my passport I used for registration and check-in. Please have a look. Okay, so I would add that part. Okay. So I would add that part. Again, repeat, everybody. So repeat after me. May I see your identification? Sure. Here's my passport I used for registration and check-in. Please have a look. Okay, good. Pooja says, yes. Absolutely. Here is my passport. Please have a look at my credentials. Okay, that's better. That's better. It's a little bit longer. It's using some nice vocabulary. Okay. Lots of different ways to answer this. Okay, so be natural when you're getting ready for the IELTS exam. Practice multiple ways to do this. Okay. So yes, this is by Rashika. Yes, here's my passport that I used to register for this exam a couple of weeks ago. Please have a look. Yeah, another good way. Okay, so nice. I'm happy to see that students are really just kind of clear now on this. Okay, those are all great ways to answer that question. And then comes the next question. What is your full name? They're going to ask you for your full name, and then there's an automatic second question that you should answer, and answer this automatically. Don't wait for it. So the hidden question here is, and what should I call you? Okay. They will always ask you that. It's part of the procedure. It's part of the protocol. Okay. So what is your full name, and what should I call you? Okay. Hi, Ruslan. Hi, Musafar. So answer the question what to call you automatically. Please call me this. Call me this for short. This is my nickname. Okay. And so answer those automatically. All right. Let's see. Koa Dong says, let me make this a little bit bigger so it's clear. So Koa says, my first name is Koa, my last name is Duong, and you can call me with the name Calvin. Okay, so if you have an English nickname, and this is especially true for a lot of people in Asian countries like Vietnam, China, Korea as well. Okay, so use this phrase, okay? My first name is Koa, my last name is Duong, and please call me. Please call me by my English nickname. Calvin. And I mean, the reason why, of course, a lot of people do this is because it's simpler. It's simpler. And I'm used to it. So a lot of people in Asian countries, when they're speaking English to an international community, they get used to being called by their English nicknames as opposed to their local given name just because it's difficult to pronounce or awkwardly pronounced, and that's maybe not the greatest for some people. So you can say that, you can express that, right? Like you might as well be fluent and tell the examiner, my first name is Koa, my last name is Duong, and please call me by my English nickname Calvin. It's simpler and I'm used to it. Okay. Welcome back to our group of members, Amrit. Okay, just say it fluently, all right? And it's showing you your confidence, it's showing your fluency. That's really good, okay? Ishan says, my full name is Ishan Sharma, but you can address me by my first name, Ishan. Yeah, instead of the but you can, so this is kind of an interesting one here, the but you can. It's not rude, but it's not really polite either, okay? So, not rude, but not polite. So I suggest avoiding this. This phrase, okay? The but you can. Okay, it's like because there's a contrast there, it's like a contradiction. So if you want to be more polite, please, we usually use the word please, okay? So I would say, my full name is Ishan Sharma, please address me, okay? It's just more polite, especially when you're meeting somebody for the first time that's kind of in a position of power as an examiner is. So I would say my full name is Ishan Sharma. Please address me by my first name, Ishan. Okay, it's a little bit more polite that way. The but you can. It's like, so you mean I can't? Okay, and then they'll ask you some warm-up questions. So they'll ask you a question, and again, students, make sure you're repeating me as I'm saying these phrases, okay? All right, Ishan says, got it. Thanks, Adrian. Okay, and then they'll ask you a couple of questions to get to know you better. These are some very popular ones here today. Where do you live? Okay, so, okay, Ishan, where do you live? So you want to give a nice full sentence answer for this one. I live in a one-bedroom condo in the heart of Toronto, which of course is the largest city in Canada. Okay, so place of residence, my house or my apartment, okay, my city, and then my country, all strung together in a nice fluent phrase. Just repeat after me. Where do you live? Where do you live? I live in a one-bedroom condo in the heart of Toronto, which of course is the largest city in Canada. Okay, so nice and fluent, small to big, or you can go big to small. You can say I live right here in Canada, in Toronto, in a one-bedroom condo with my pet dog, Sparky. Okay, so be fluent. Bakrat Sharma, our former member, says, I'm residing in a beautiful two-story apartment situated in the heart of the capital of India, New Delhi, which is close to the market and the metro services in GDP Nagar, New Delhi. Okay, you got it at the end there. Yeah, that's good. That's good, Bharat. Okay, I like it. All right. This one is by Manny Deep. It says, I live in an independent house with my parents, which is constructed in a gated community that has full of trees and pleasant environment situated in Hiberdad, India. Okay, couple of mistakes there. I'll just correct that for you, Mandeep. Independent house is a bit awkward. Independent is not the right adjective here. So instead of independent, I would use detached house, okay? Or you could also use family. Okay, so I live in a detached house with my parents. You don't need the which is constructed. It's awkward. In a gated community with lots of trees. Okay, so with lots of trees and a pleasant environment situated in Hyderabad, India. Okay, so 3 mistakes there. You don't want to make mistakes like that in these warm-up questions. They'll pull your band score down. So just make sure that these kinds of questions like where do you live? What are your hobbies? Do you go to work or school? Make sure that you can give some really clear, crisp, accurate answers for these, okay? So again, repeat after me. I live in a detached house with my parents in a gated community with lots of trees and a pleasant environment situated in Hyderabad, India. Yeah. Parlay, it's not a detached house, it's detached. There's a D there, okay? Make sure that you remember that. Not a detached house, detached. It's not attached, so it's detached from other homes, okay? All right, and then another common question for IELTS speaking part 1 is, do you work or study? So do you work or study? It's like, I think maybe 8 out of 10 or 4 out of 5 examiners will ask this question. Do you work or study? Okay, so let's see. Bishwash Pudel says, few months back, I was working as a teacher, but as of now, I am focused on my IELTS exam, and at the moment, I'm studying English. Good. It's really nice. So, Bishwash, that's great English. I love how you have this time expression a few months back. Okay. I was working, you're showing some nice past progressive grammar. I was working as a teacher, but as of now, again, it's a very nice time expression bringing us into the present. I'm focused on my IELTS exam. At the moment, it's okay. As of now and at the moment are the same, okay? So notice how those two are the same. I might omit that. So you want to avoid repetition in your IELTS speaking interview. So remember, students, professional communication is concise. So you want to avoid repetition. Okay. I mean, that's especially at the highest marks. If you were to do this at the beginning, it's totally okay. You can still get a band 9, but you definitely want to keep in mind that, don't repeat the same idea again and again. So if I want to make this response even better, Biswash, I would say a few months back, I was working as a teacher, but as of now, I'm focused on my IELTS exam and I am studying English. Specifically, I'm focusing on improving my vocabulary base and implementing complex grammar in both my speech and writing. Okay, so a little bit more detail. What part of English, right? English is huge. It's a language. So maybe a little bit more detail. Details get you scores. Okay, keep that in mind as well. Details get you scores without over speaking or without going off topic. Okay, and then the examiner will introduce the specific topic of part 1. They'll say, let's talk about fashion. Okay. It can be 1,000,001 topics. Don't try to guess it. Just use strategy and focus on giving answers, explanations, and examples. So to continue on with this speaking class, we're going to actually take volunteers from all of our viewers and we're going to do some live speaking strategy, and feedback. So I'm going to give a chance for our viewers to answer a question. Then I will give you a band score for that, so a rough estimate of what that one answer. All right, everybody. So I should be back now. It should be all good. Yeah, usually this kind of situation can be remedied. It just takes a minute for the stream to get reloaded. All right. So for those of you who hung in there, thank you. That's awesome. All right. That's great, because we're just about to get going for the speaking volunteering. So we are looking, well, it was a kind of a nice break just before we got going with the IELTS speaking part 1 questions here for the specific topic of talking on fashion, okay? So again, for this, we're going to do volunteering, okay? So to volunteer to speak and to answer questions with me, all you have to do is go to the website, aehelp.com, all right? Go to your My Student account, click on Student Partner Speaking, enable your microphone in your browser, so make sure that when it asks you to use the microphone, use the speaker, you say yes. And then you'll see me as master, and then send me a message, say I want to volunteer. Now, if this is confusing, don't worry. I'm going to show you this in just a second, okay? So again, go to the website, aehelp.com, okay? You can join the Premium IELTS package by clicking this red button, or you can try it with the green button. You can see we're an official IELTS test registration center, by the way. And then go to your My Student account. So you click on My Student account. And then in your My Student account, you will see this button, which is the Student Partner Speaking. That's right above my head there. And by the way, if you want to book a full IELTS speaking interview practice, you can do that by clicking this yellow button there, the speaking interview practice. Of course, that's paid service. And so you click on Student Partner Speaking and say, I accept, and start speaking. And then you will be redirected to this page here where you can already see lots of students in here. We've got Riza, we've got Khabib, we've got Anton, John, Rabin, Lynette, Divya, Duin, Tatiana, and lots more. That's fantastic. And you'll see me as master. I'm kind of, see how it says you, master. And then you can just message me. So click on the blue envelope and then say, I would like to start speaking, or I would like to volunteer, and then we can practice these speaking part 1 questions. Okay. So Kevin is ready to go. Let's see if Kevin and I are able to connect, and then we'll practice some speaking. So Kevin says, happy Thursday, I'd love to volunteer. Okay, Kevin, are you ready? Again, make sure your microphone and speaker are turned on, enabled, turned up. Here we go. Okay, Kevin is ready to go. Hello, Kevin. I can see that you picked up, but I can't hear your voice. Is your speaker enabled? Oh, I think we just lost your connection, so not sure what's going on there. Let me reach out to Tatiana. Make sure you have a good connection. Okay, Tatiana, are you ready? Okay, try to use a stable Wi-Fi or even better LAN connection if you can. Use a PC if you can. If not, mobile is okay, but PC is definitely going to be the optimum way to do this.
Hello, Adrian.
Hi, Tatiana. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's really annoying that the stream froze on me, to be honest with you. But otherwise, I'm doing great for sure. Okay, Tatiana. So let's do a little bit of speaking part 1 practice. Are you ready?
Yes, let's.
Okay, so I am going to jump back to the questions here, and just to give everybody the feeling of the IELTS speaking interview, I'm going to start from the top. So welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner. May I see your identification, please?
Yes, gladly. This is my passport that I used a few weeks ago while registering. Please have a look at my credentials.
Okay, and what is your full name?
My full name is Tatiana Pranovna Starikova. Please call me Tatiana.
Okay, Tatiana, where do you live?
I live in Russia, Moscow. It's the capital of my country. I live in a new residential area in a 3-bedroom apartment with a roommate.
Do you work or study?
Currently, I am doing both. I work as an English teacher and I'm studying for my IELTS exam because I'd love to work internationally.
Let's talk about fashion.
Gladly.
What do you usually wear?
Honestly speaking, I usually wear casual clothes such as jeans, t-shirt, and a cardigan, or jeans and a shirt, because it gives me mobility and it looks both decent and not too pretentious. My students wear the same actually, so I always pass as a decently looking teacher.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. All right. That was really good. Okay. That was so from the start to now, you are definitely looking at a solid band 8 to 8.5 for that. Okay. So that was really good. That was nice. The beginning was perfect.
Good news.
Yeah. So the start of it was perfect. It was it was accurate. So once you start getting into these more specific questions, like let's talk about fashion, of course, it becomes a little bit more challenging to stay perfect because you have to focus on so many little details, especially for that band 9. Honestly speaking, it's an okay expression, Tatiana. I would be careful to overuse that. It can be a bit of an awkward expression, especially in professional settings. Like if you're doing a job interview, I would definitely avoid saying honestly speaking.
Okay.
Because of course you're speaking honestly. I mean, we're in an interview. Hopefully you're being honest with me. And I know it's an expression, but it's still a bit off. So especially for questions that are so common, like what do you usually wear? Honestly speaking, it's like, okay. So anyway, that aside, it's okay. Honestly speaking, I usually wear casual clothes like jeans, t-shirt, and a cardigan, which is fine, sweater, cardigan, because it gives me mobility. So good, you thought about your explanation, right? You thought, okay, I told him what I usually wear, and now I have to think about why do I usually wear this, right? Mobility is a bit of an unusual way to explain wearing these clothes, but I get it. So it's again, it's not completely strange. It's just not common. In the IELTS, it's good to stick to common because for vocabulary, the examiner is looking for natural language. And since they don't really know you as a person, they don't know your style, it's hard for them to figure out whether you're using that word because it's your style or whether you're using it because you don't know a better word like because I'm comfortable.
It gives
Because
me the freedom of movement.
because I'm comfortable. I would just that would be the that would just be the simplest way to say it because I'm comfortable. Um, uh, and that's it. I would just say that. So honestly speaking, I usually wear casual clothes like jeans, t-shirt, and a cardigan because I'm comfortable throughout the day.
It's convenient. They're convenient clothes.
I wouldn't say that either.
All right.
Yeah, I just say clothing. The most common qualifier is comfortable clothing. Okay.
Boring.
The next part, though, you said it looks both decent and I'm not too pretentious. Is good. Okay. So I like those words. Pretentious was a really nice vocabulary. Yeah, if you're wearing like a very expensive Gucci dress with a big gold watch and a gold necklace, then that's pretentious, right? Where you want to be better than everybody else, right? So that was a good vocabulary there. And then you said my students wear the same, which is okay. Instead of that part, what I would have done, Tatiana, is just given an example. And you can use an example like this, kind of like what I'm wearing right now.
Right now I'm wearing my blue jeans and fila t-shirt and woolen cardigan.
There you go. So, and if you're in the exam room, you can literally refer to what you're wearing right there, sitting right there. And that's, for the IELTS exam, I always tell people, because people sometimes do ask me, like, how should I dress for my IELTS exam? What should I wear? And I say, wear comfortable clothes, not like really overly casual street clothes, but it doesn't have to be super formal. So something semi-formal is fine, like a nice pair of jeans and a nice cardigan. Absolutely okay. And it's important to be comfortable during IELTS as well. Okay, let me repeat this question and then just copy the answer after I finish, okay? So what do you usually wear? Honestly speaking, I usually wear casual clothes like jeans, t-shirt, and a cardigan because I'm comfortable throughout the day. It looks both decent and not too pretentious, kind of like what I'm wearing right now. What do you usually wear?
I usually wear casual clothes like jeans, a t-shirt, and a cardigan. I feel comfortable throughout the day in these clothes. It looks both decent and not too pretentious. Right now I'm wearing blue jeans, my fila t-shirt, and a woolen cardigan.
Okay, good. And just repeat this one word after me for pronunciation. Clothes.
Oh, clothes.
Yeah, there's the E is omitted, so just clothes. Okay?
Yeah, clothes. Clothes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Tatiana, that was great. Otherwise, fantastic speaking. Keep it up. You're definitely improving, okay? You're getting more and more
Thank you
accurate
very
each
much
time.
indeed.
All right, have a great
Thank you
rest
for your
of your
help.
day. Absolutely.
The same
Bye,
to you.
Tatiana. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so that was Tatiana. Give Tatiana a thumbs up. That was really cool. She gave us a really good sample of what a band 8 to 9 level start to speaking part 1 sounds like. Okay, so that's very, very good. All right, students, let's take somebody else. We've got Rodolfo here. Let's try Rodolfo. I'm trying new people all the time too. People that come back regularly, they kind of figure out how I'm down. I have to go. Too bad for me. Okay, Rodolfo, it sounds like you're having some internet issues, so I won't try then. But you did message me. Let's try John. Let's see what's going on with John. John says I would like to volunteer. Okay. Yeah, so make sure you're not driving while you're doing this kind of practice. Try to be in a place where you have stable internet, where you can focus. A good idea is to try the system with somebody else in the chat, everybody, so that you know it's working for you, okay? All right, here we go with John. Hi, John.
Hello, Zoe.
Hi, John. How are you? I can hear you.
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am doing good also. John, where are you right now? I mean, what country?
I reside in Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan. Are you in Tashkent?
No, it's Samarkand.
Okay. I just took a guess at the capital, so, but I was wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and why are you taking the IELTS exam?
Well, actually, for my university entrance, and English is my one of my hobbies. That's why.
It's a good hobby to have. Let me tell you a good reason why it's a good hobby to have. Many people don't know this, but 95% of all the money in the world changes hands using English. Did you know that?
Well, actually, no.
Yeah, all the big deals, like the multi-million, multi-billion dollar deals, all in English. So, yeah, it's I read a statistic. It might be a little bit off, but I would imagine it's pretty close. Okay, well, let's do this then. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about fashion.
All right.
What is your favorite piece of clothing?
Well, my all-time clothing would be sweats. That's because I not only feel a bit more confident, but also it's comfortable for me, and I feel more productive if I'm wearing those.
Okay. Can you give me an example?
Um, well, actually, I read it quite frequently, and it's like both at school and as a studies, like when I attend my classes. So,
Okay. So, not bad. You have great English. Let's work on your communication or your communicative style a little bit because I think that's the fastest way to improve your mark here. Okay. So, I think your band score for this response would be about a band 7. Okay. Because you're quite fluent. However, there are a couple of slight oddities in your response, and you're not answering the question exactly or accurately as you should. Let me explain this to you. When you have a question like, what is your favorite piece of clothing? Choose one. Okay, so not a genre or a group of clothes like suits, but choose one specific suit, right? So choose one.
I
Well,
got
my
it.
all-time favorite clothing, so there's kind of a missing word there, always reflect the question. And if you can paraphrase it, great. If not, just repeat the word in the question. So, well, my all-time favorite piece of clothing. It's okay to do that. Favorite piece of clothing would be my black suit.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, it's just more specific, more direct. It creates more clarity for coherence for the examiner. And then you gave a nice, I really liked your explanation. I especially liked this part here, John, where you use this correlative conjunction. Correlative conjunctions are wonderful. They emphasize the language. When we're talking about our favorite, we definitely like to emphasize our reasons for it. So it's a really great place to use this not only but also. So you said not only because I feel more confident. Use affirmative language. So don't say a bit, like just be affirmative. Not only because I feel more confident, but also I feel more productive. I think I repeated something here. So, but also I feel, keep the grammar consistent. So you switched to the ing form here instead of the simple, but you should have kept it simple because the first one was simple. I feel more confident. So the next one should also be I feel more. Okay, so I feel more productive. And then so here, as your listener, I'm kind of like thinking like, what do you mean you're more productive, right? When I'm wearing this, of course. So your example should always be very specific. Okay. I wore my suit to a group meeting last week, and I got a ton of work done because I felt so focused. Okay. So that would be the specific. When you're thinking of examples, John, think of specific examples. So don't generalize your ideas. Be specific, okay?
Right.
Is that clear?
Thanks.
Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to repeat the question. Copy the answer after me, okay? So once I'm finished. So here we go. What is your favorite piece of clothing? Well, my all-time favorite piece of clothing would be my black suit, not only because I feel more confident, but also because I feel more productive when I'm wearing this. I wore my suit to a group meeting last week and I got a ton of work done because I felt professional and focused. Okay, what is your favorite piece of clothing?
Well, my all-time favorite piece of clothing would be my black suit. Not only because I feel more confident, but also I feel more productive when I'm wearing this. I wore my suit to a group meeting last week, and I got a ton of work done because I felt professional and focused.
Nice. So you see how that response, just those slight adjustments, answers that question a lot more accurately, right?
Yeah.
So that now brings you from that 7 to that band 8, 9 range, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so focus on that, and I'm glad English is your hobby. Like I said, it's a great hobby to pick, and I hope that you do well in your IELTS exam. Thank you so much. Make sure to come back and volunteer again in the future, okay, John?
Yeah, obviously. Thank you too.
Okay, thanks. Bye. All right, that was John from Uzbekistan. All right, let's see if we can find somebody else. We've got Khabib at the top here. Let's see if Khabib is still here with us. So again, always message me first, students. I want to make sure that you don't leave for coffee or, you know, you're off to work or school. So, and then I can message you back with, are you ready? Okay. And give thumbs up, everybody. Yeah, so I see that Carolina just giving some thumbs up for John, and Parlay is giving a thumbs up for John as well, which is really good. Support each other, everyone in the chat. Make everyone feel comfortable. I know that it takes a lot of courage to volunteer for these questions, and it's fantastic that you do. So make sure that you're volunteering. And notice, everybody, that this would be our usual class time finish, but now our classes are 90 minutes long, so we've got another 30 minutes of practice, so lots of time for questions and more students. Okay, so Khabib says, yup, I am ready. Call me. Okay, here we go, Khabib. Khabib, I hear that you picked up. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can clearly hear you. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, Khabib. I can clearly hear you as well. Are you using a microphone?
Yes, I am using it.
Yeah, I can hear that. You're very, it's like you're inside my head, talking into my brain. Okay, Khabib, and where are you?
I'm calling to you from a beautiful country, Uzbekistan.
From Uzbekistan as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
as well.
Yeah, all right. I've heard Uzbekistan is very beautiful. I kind of imagine Uzbekistan is somewhat similar to Canada, where there's lots of really nice nature in the country. So is that true? Is there a lot of greenery, a lot of nature in Uzbekistan?
I completely agree with nature, but as far as city is concerned, I wouldn't say that. Because comparing with Canada, it's much more... there is no facilities, I would say.
Okay, so it's not, so the infrastructure is not as developed as the Canadian infrastructure, I think is what you're
Exactly.
trying to say. Okay, except for maybe Tashkent, right? The capital. I imagine Tashkent is quite well developed.
Yeah, sir. By the way, I'm a little bit excited. It's my first time.
That's totally okay. Yeah, it's fine. That's why it's really good to volunteer in these classes to build confidence, right? So that when you go to the official IELTS, then you feel, oh, okay, it's just like that time and it's no big deal. Okay. All right, so let's go to the questions. Let's go to the next question here, and just give me a nice full sentence answer, okay? So here we go. So is fashion important in your country?
It's vitally important in my country, especially when you are walking around the country and see it can make first impression of people. It can make a good impression as well. And whenever I am walking around the country, I can clearly notice that people pay attention to clothes rather than nature, and it's crucial important. It has crucial of importance.
Okay. All right. So that would be about a band 6 to 6.5. Okay, it could be, and I'll explain why. So, is fashion important in your country? You answered the question. I did understand it, and you were fluent. So it's clearly a band 6. However, the quality of the answer and the grammatical use and vocabulary range could have been better. Okay. Whenever you're asked a question about your country, clearly state your country. Now, I think in our case, it was a bit tricky because you already told me you're in Uzbekistan, so you know I know. but whenever you have a question like, is fashion important in your country? Then you should say yes. So if it's a yes or no question, always start with the yes or the no. So yes. Fashion. So reflect the question. Use the parts of the question. So fashion is widely is okay. I would say very instead. Very important in Uzbekistan. So be specific.
Okay. You mean paraphrase a question?
Yeah, exactly. So you can paraphrase it, but even if you can't paraphrase it, just reflect it, use it. So is fashion important in your country? Yes, fashion is very important in Uzbekistan, right? That's the clearest way to answer that question to any person asking it, right? So yes, fashion is very important in Uzbekistan. And then here you said, especially when you are walking around in my country. It's a bit of an awkward concept. First of all, don't use you. Okay, this is, I think students who watch this class regularly, they really know that I'm very picky about this word. I get very excited and upset when I hear this word because we use the word you in our conversation often, but it's not a good way to speak because we're talking directly to our listener and we don't know, like I'm in Canada right now and I haven't been to Uzbekistan yet. One day, hopefully I'll go, but you can't bring me into the conversation, right? So especially, and so keep it simple. You can actually take this all out. So you can say, especially when walking around in the bigger cities, and then be more specific. So don't just repeat what you already said. In your answer, you kind of just repeated the concept of fashion is popular. What does it mean to be fashionable?
It's a new question?
Yeah, it's going to be a part of this answer, John. So I'm asking you, in your opinion, what does it mean to be fashionable?
To be fashionable, from my personal point of view, the person is wearing the fashionable clothes like which has came out recently, and they're very popular in your country, in my country.
Okay, yeah. And so fashionable clothes, what do they look like? How would you describe clothes that are fashionable? And you're on the right track. How would you describe these clothes?
I would definitely describe these clothes like simple clothes, daily clothes, like when the person can go with these clothes, can dress up these clothes anywhere. Let's imagine for cafe, and from cafe to job. It's
So simple thoughts, John. So I'm trying to, what I'm doing here is I'm navigating you to think simply about your answers. So would you consider fashionable clothes beautiful clothes or good looking clothing?
let me see.
That was a simple
I would
question.
consider it
Yeah, they would, right? You
I
would
would,
look
I would
appealing. So if you wear something fashionable, you put it on because you think other people will think that, hey, you look good in those clothes, right? So keep it simple, right?
exactly.
Fashionable clothes, are they expensive usually?
I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say that they're expensive, but uh, it mostly depends on producer of clothes.
Don't
If
say that.
he's
Don't say that, John. Not for IELTS. Not for IELTS. So this is a really important tip for you when you're doing your IELTS exam. I agree with you, by the way. I think you're right. I think we can be fashionable and not pay a lot of money. I think that's possible. But I think that conversation is a conversation that you and I should have as friends in a coffee shop, not during the IELTS exam. The IELTS examiner doesn't care about that. Okay, they only care about good English. So you want to take the easy road to the high band score. And even though I agree with you that fashionable clothes could be expensive or could be cheap, it can depend on a lot of factors, I would not get into that very tricky, challenging conversation. I would just keep it simple for the IELTS. So what I would do is I would say, yes, fashion is very important in Uzbekistan, especially when walking around in big cities. It's obvious that many people spend a lot of money on popular, recent, or current trends or trendy attire, another way to say clothes, so that they can look good. Okay, and then just throw in like a really simple example. Many Uzbek women,
many Uzbek people.
even be more specific, many Uzbek women wear designer Gucci and Versace. I don't even know how to spell these, but Versace, whatever the spelling is there, Versace shoes and dresses. Okay, so just like that. So for the IELTS, you want to be a stereotype. You want to be stereotypical. Do you know this word stereotype?
Stereotype. Keep
Stereotype.
it simply. Keep it
Not
simply.
quite. It
To
is
have friendly
simple.
conversation.
Stereotypes kind of means like what people generally assume. Like people generally assume that Gucci is expensive and it's trendy. So it's a stereotype. It's like everybody thinks that way, right? So that would be considered a stereotype. In using stereotypes in daily life, it's maybe not always true and it's maybe a boring way to live. But on the IELTS, it's a perfect way to get a high band score. Okay? So try this answer. You'll notice the difference. Here we go. Is fashion important in your country? Yes, fashion is very important in Uzbekistan, especially when walking around in the bigger cities. It's obvious that many people spend a lot of money on popular, recent, trendy attire so that they can look good. Many Uzbek women wear designer Gucci and Versace shoes and dresses. Okay, is fashion important in your country?
Yes, fashion is very important in Uzbekistan, especially when walking around in the bigger cities. It's obvious that many people spend a lot of money on popular recent trendy attire so that they can look good. Many Uzbek women wear designer Gucci and Versace shoes and dresses.
Do you see how it's stereotypical? Like you might not say that to your friend, but for the IELTS, that will get you a band 8 to a band 9. So it's kind of the easier way to get that high band score. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to give you with this?
Yeah, I see. I noticed the difference between my answer and your answer.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
my answer is stereotypical, it's detailed, it's specific. Answer, explanation, example, like a kind of like, I don't want to say robot, but kind of like that. And then next question, right? Okay. All right, John, so practice that. It does take a little bit of practice to switch your mind into that kind of communication. But once you get it, it starts to become easier. And then when you're in a professional setting where it's performance based, it's much easier to do this. Okay.
Okay. And by the way, sir, I'm really interested in your own score in IELTS. Is it 9?
Yeah, yeah, I got on the speaking, I got 9. So I got 9 in listening, reading, speaking, but I only got 7.5 the last time in the writing. And there's a whole video on the YouTube channel for that, so you can check it out. Writing is definitely the most difficult one to get a perfect score. It's very, very rare to hear about a 9 in writing. So.
And one more question: does listening help to improve speaking?
Listening is the other half of the coin for auditory communication, right? So definitely listening is an important part of spoken communication as well. But the most important is speaking. Speaking improves speaking.
Okay, I got it. Thanks a lot, sir. Have a good one.
Okay, thank you so much as well. Khabib, have an awesome rest of your day. All right, I called Khabib John by accident because they're both from Uzbekistan, but my apologies for that, Khabib. Khabib. All right, thumbs up for Khabib. Okay, let's take another volunteer. See how awesome it is, these longer classes? We can do lots of volunteers. I think we might even have a chance to get Rodolfo back. Look at that. There's Rodolfo. All right, Rodolfo, are you ready? Okay, and look at the thumbs up for Khabib. That was perfect. Hopefully Rodolfo went down. Now he's back. Hopefully Rodolfo is ready. Okay, yes, Rodolfo is ready. Okay, here we go. Hello, Rodolfo. I thought I heard you pick up. Do you have a good connection? Not sure. I can't hear you, Rodolfo. Please check your microphone and your speaker. Okay, Rodolfo, once you've checked your microphone and your speaker with maybe another person, make sure you figure out the settings, then let me know, okay? All right. Let's see. Isadora. Let's see if we can reach out to Isadora. All right, Isadora, are you ready? Here we go. So again, students, when you're using this system, you can be at ahelp.com or you can be on gieltshelp.com. The two systems actually join together from our two websites. So you will see the same people in the GIELTS website. Practice, student speaking practice is what you will see in the ahelp one, okay? And then make sure that you enable your microphone and your speaker, test it out. Isadora Cruz, still waiting to see if you are there. Not sure. Okay, I'm hearing lots of pings. Hopefully I'll catch a newer one here, or a fresher one. All right. Atta. Let's see if Atta's here. I think Atta's here. Are you ready? And I love how we're getting lots of volunteers. It's good. I think a lot of people are really gaining confidence through this, and I think you're helping each other to be more confident by volunteering. So more and more people are volunteering all the time, every day, and that's wonderful to see. So Atta, if you are there, let me know. I know we have about well, maybe like a 5-second, 6-second delay in the live stream, so I'm going to give you a chance. All right. And I see that in the chat, some of you are answering questions as well, which is great. Like I can see Tatiana, you're answering that question. Use the present perfect for the second part as well. Nowadays, people have become more concerned about ecology. Okay, Atta, you are there. Good. So use the grammar questions.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Atta. How are you?
I'm fine.
Where are you, Atta?
Oh, I'm in Nigeria. I'm answering from Nigeria.
You are in Nigeria. That is great. Yeah, you have a unique name. I was like, I wonder where Atta is from. Okay, Nigeria. And why are you taking the IELTS exam?
Oh,
So, Atta, what's your reason for taking the IELTS exam?
okay. My major reason for taking the exam is to migrate to Canada, particularly.
Okay. So, good. So, are you planning to work or study or do both in Canada?
I'm actually planning to study in Canada.
Okay. Do you have a university? Do you know what school?
Yeah, yes, I'm.
University of Toronto, McGill, UBC, University of Alberta. Do you have some schools picked out?
Yes, I have. Yes, particularly University of Toronto. I want to study my master's in the University of Toronto and then further gain more knowledge and then proceed for a PhD.
Okay. All right. Well, let me help you with that journey. Let me ask you a part one question. Here we go. How has fashion changed since you were a child?
Okay. Fashion in my own part of the country has really changed over the time. Uh, the way in which people used to dress have really changed. Nowadays, a lot of people prefer to wear good clothing that are cheaper and affordable and just to look smart and beautiful. And in a couple of years, let's say in 10 years' time, people will prefer to wear things that are better and that looks good.
Okay. All right. So that was about a band 6 to 6.5, Atta. Yeah, actually closer to a 6.5. So I think 6.5 is more accurate. Okay, so between a 6 and a 7, 6.5. You did one point really well, which is to use the present perfect. So this question is present perfect. How has fashion changed? And you used that present perfect in your answer. You said it has really changed over time, which is good. We use present perfect to emphasize change over time. So you said fashion in my own part of the country. Same. Advice as Khabib. So when you're talking about your country, name your country. So fashion in Western, I don't know what part of Nigeria you're in, so I'm just making it up, but fashion in Western Nigeria has really changed over time. The way in which people used to dress has really changed. This is kind of repetition, you already said, has changed. So instead of repeating yourself, give a bit more detail. So the way in which people used to dress has really become more modernized through globalization. I mean, people wore more traditional clothing, but now they wear fashion from around the world, such as Nike and Adidas. Okay. So just like my Nike shoes that I bought last week. Okay, so be more specific and give an example. Let me repeat this answer and then copy me, okay? So here we go. How has fashion changed since you were a child? Fashion in Western Nigeria has really changed over time since my childhood. The way in which people used to dress has really become more modernized through globalization. I mean, people wore more traditional clothing, but now they wear fashion from around the world like Nike and Adidas, just like these Nike shoes I bought last week. So one more time, how has fashion changed since you were a child? Atta, are you still there? I think I might have lost Atta because it's very silent. We say crickets in English. Atta, are you still there? I think I lost Atta, but anyhow, I hope you caught that, Atta. So I hope you caught those corrections, and make sure to practice. By the way, students, when I'm asking a volunteer to repeat, I hope that you're also repeating, okay? Thanks for volunteering, Atta, and I hope you have great success in your journey to the University of Toronto in Canada, okay? All right, so let's see, is this Kevin Bowie here? All right. Let's see. I think this might be Kevin Bowie here. Are you ready? Kevin's always eager, I think, to volunteer. So let's see if Kevin is still here with us. Yes, Kevin's here. Okay, let's do one more question then, Kevin. Here we go.
Hello?
Hi, Kevin.
Oh my God. All right. Yeah, so finally the author is doing my favor. Sir, I was trying to, I was trying to get myself to be chosen, but yeah, that's such a relief that you finally picked me. So thank you so much, sir.
You are most welcome, right? Persistence is key in life, and you were very persistent. I reward persistence, so that's great. All right, Kevin, so I'm happy we're in touch. Kevin, can you tell everybody where you are right now in this big, beautiful world of ours?
So I'm staying in Hanoi. It's the capital of Vietnam. Yeah.
Okay, so Kevin is in Hanoi. Kevin, couple of questions here for you. Give me some nice full sentence answers, okay? So where do you like to go for buying clothes?
Well, to shop for clothes, I often go to brick and mortar stores because they are where I can go from aisle to aisle, trying on and feeling the fabric texture, its fit on my body. So that I can make sure that they will be a perfect match for me, and I wouldn't tire myself with all the process of trying to get an exchange, which actually happened a few times before when I placed my order online.
If you could have any piece of clothing, what would it be and why?
Well, if I could get any article of clothing, then I would go for a pair of Nike Air Force One sneakers, which actually hit the market last year because I am a sneakerhead. Well, I mean, I just love its memory foam footbed and the synthetic, durable fabric. And as a matter of fact, I would imagine, myself crossing the street and, exalted because all eyes would be on the sneaker, specifically its swoosh.
Okay, I'll stop you there. Kevin, those are brilliant answers. That would be a solid 8.5 for sure, if not a 9. So great English, very nice, very specific use of language. Basically, your answers check off all of the points that the examiners are looking for. So the examiners are looking at your speaking responses from two domains. In one domain, they're looking for fluency and coherence, pronunciation, grammatical range, and accuracy and lexical resource, meaning vocabulary. And on all of those, you're basically a 9. Okay, so an examiner would have to be very picky to say that it wasn't. You used complex grammar, you used a lot of vocabulary, you gave good answers. And then the other domain that the examiner is looking at the speaking is, are you using natural language? Are you using complex language, and are you using coherent language? And you did a very good job on those. So let me explain to all of our viewers what I mean by that. So this is a good example of a very high mark. So where do you like to go for buying clothes? You immediately paraphrased. You said, well, to shop for clothes. So that's immediate paraphrasing. Instead of buying, you said shop. And then you said, I often go to brick and mortar stores. Brick and mortar stores is really nice descriptive language. That means that you actually go to physical stores as opposed to online stores like Amazon. And then you went directly into an explanation. You said, because they are where I can go from aisle to aisle. Do you know what I really liked about this, Kevin? The where I can go from aisle to aisle?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Please school me.
Yeah, so what I really liked about this phrase, I can go from aisle to aisle. So for everybody who's watching, aisles are the rows of basically shelving with the merchandise or goods. So when you go into a store and you have these rows and rows of shelves that have merchandise that you can buy, those are the aisles. Okay, the aisles are what are in between those shelves where you're walking as a customer. So when Kevin's saying where I can go from aisle to aisle, I can literally visualize him. So I can see Kevin going from one aisle to the next, picking up a sweater, putting it on. Hey, this is good. Taking it off, taking off shoes. So you're creating visual language in my head as the listener. And that's very powerful communication when you can visually create the information. And then you said, so I can make sure that they're a perfect match for me. And then you even gave me a little bit of the opposite. So you said, as opposed to going through the trouble of returning clothes, buying them online, right? So, and then you stopped. I was a little bit worried that you're going to ramble and go off topic, but you realized, okay, I answered this question. I don't need to say more. I've given clarity, and I'm going to stop there. And then you stopped. You didn't give me an example. Like, you didn't say, yesterday I went to a clothing store down the street to pick out a pair of shoes, but that's fine. You don't need an example for every question. Okay. Overall, it was very good. And then in the second and the last question here, you did the same. So I asked you if you could have any piece of clothing. And then again, you started by using the question right away, paraphrasing right away. So you said, well, if I could get any article of clothing. So instead of piece of clothing, it's article of clothing. And you said, I would go for a pair of Nike Air Force One sneakers. Very specific. I have a picture of Nike Air Force One sneakers in my head. Okay. And then you said, because I'm a sneakerhead. Not a lot of people would know this expression unless they're very familiar with English pop culture, which lends me to believe that you like watching movies in English. You do a lot of reading in English. Yeah, sneakerheads are people who basically collect sneakers. Do you collect sneakers, Kevin?
Let's say I do. Yeah, let's say I do store a few pairs, but I would say my budget doesn't. I mean, I can't afford to have like a whole, closet full of sneakers.
Yeah, they're expensive. Some sneakers have become very collectible. But anyway, it's great. I mean, I'm not even going to ask you where you learned that word. I'm sure you might not even remember, but very nice vocabulary, sneakerhead. And then you said, I just love the memory foam and so on. And then you finished. So again, just from start to finish, very original, coherent, clear answer. That's what a band 9 takes. Okay, so for everybody who's watching, that's what you need if you want to get a band 9. All right, Kevin, thank you for volunteering. I'm glad that you were able to connect, and I'm glad that you were able to produce these wonderful answers to practice your English and to show our other viewers kind of what is expected for a band 9.
Thank you, sir, for putting in overtime for me. I mean, I would definitely go to bed and have a good night's sleep tonight just because I've been picked.
All right.
So, please, happy teaching, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your help.
You're very welcome. Bye, Kevin. Okay, so that was Kevin. Yeah, Kevin was really good. Yeah, it pays to use English. So I have a feeling that Kevin makes English a part of his regular life, watching movies, reading books, and that's a great way to do it. No question about it. Okay, everyone. So this is where you volunteer. We're going to use this more throughout the week for the reading as well. We're going to use this tomorrow, everyone. For our subscribers. Tomorrow there'll be a reading class for subscribers. So make sure to check back regularly. Again, be sure to visit our websites, okay? We used our website right now. This is our academic IELTS website here at aehelp.com. Click this big red button above my head to join the premium IELTS package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. And then for the general IELTS, gieltshelp.com. Tons of great chat going on as well. Carolina, thank you for moderating that. Rashika, Tatiana, Amrit, our members who were in this class, thank you for your support. Thank you for watching, everybody. And I hope you all have a lovely, lovely rest of your day wherever you are in our big, beautiful world. Remember, you can use this discount code PERFECT9 for a 20% discount on the websites. Again, check out aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. I'm Adrian, signing out from West Coast, Canada on beautiful Vancouver Island, the southern tip, city of Victoria. Bye, everybody.